For 2 long years, the Davis family lived in what felt like a nightmare.
It was horrible. No, I thought I didn't think he was going to make it.
Just by talking to George Davis, you would have never guessed that he was in a coma for 40 days, and at one point, the only thing he could do was lift his head.
From about that point to when they put me in the specialty hospital, I don't really remember anything that happened to me.
George had a gastric sleeve that went septic, and within 2 weeks, his entire world changed. George didn't know that it would be the last time he'd get to sleep in his own bed or even see his own grandchildren.
Feels kind of like a bad dream. You know, like I went somewhere and got lost and got picked up and thrown somewhere, and that's where I've been.
Well, we've been in a bubble. We've watched the world pass by.
All help began to turn away because of how critical his condition got, still not seeing hope of a return home until one physical therapist at South Plains Rehabilitation Hospital took a chance on George.
He had some therapists that didn't see any progress. They gave up on him and just didn't want to work with him because he was so stiff. And she said, hand him to me. I will work with him. And yeah, they butted heads. They yelled at each other. They cried with each other. But through Rodna, she has been his savior.
Davis credits her for being a reason why George is finally able to go home. At one point, all George knew was the four walls of a hospital room. But for a second, with the new physical therapist, the Davis family regained hope.
I've had more energy, and it was just like it kind of turned a switch. They help you by making you work. And sometimes you don't like what you're doing, but they say, that's all right, you got to do it anyway.
Now, George is finally able to leave behind the rooms of the hospital and trade it for his own. After a long 2-year battle, George can finally step foot in his home again.
Kind of excited about seeing my little dog. I have a little poodle. Bless her heart, she's kind of crazy, but she's not very big, but she'll sit with me and stuff, and I miss her.
And while the road to recovery is not over, George knows he couldn't have done it alone.
God has been my hope. I know that He is taking care of me because a couple of times I could have died, but I didn't. And I know that He's got something He wants me to do, or I wouldn't be here.